Hi everybody, Lydia Crowder here with the Build Show Network, and today we're going to talk about the compound tube from CanAm. So I think this is just an awesome tool. It's kind of in between, it's semi-automatic, so it's definitely a big step up from hand taping, but you don't have to have all of the stuff that goes along with the automatic taping setup. So the compound tube is essentially just a big tube, and it has a head on the end, and then it works off of pressure. So you just put this in the bucket, pull this back, and then it fills up with mud. And then as you use it, you push the back and then move the tube, and then it puts out your mud for you. And one of the great things about this is it has a lot of heads that go on this. So it's really versatile. You can get the tube, and then you can kind of pick and choose what you want to add on to it from there. But this is awesome. I mean, you can do your applicator heads on this. You can put mud directly on the wall from this. You can add water to buckets. You can kind of do a ton of stuff with it. It just speeds up getting mud on the wall for you. You can also use it as a water gun if you so choose, and it's a very hot day like it is today. So I'm going to kind of go through a couple of different heads, what they do, and show you how they attach to the compound tube. So this one, obviously you just suck the mud from here. And then we're going to start first with the flat applicator. So this would be for like your flats, your butts. So what you do is you just pop it on the back right there. So as you can see, there's some springs there. They hold it in there, and you just pop it in. So this one will run your flats and your butts. So the mud will come out here. You'll be pushing on the end, and then that will be pushing the mud out through there in a nice even amount, so you can get your flats and butts taped faster. Now, there are a couple different applicator heads for angles, which is very nice. There's the two-wheeled applicator head. So what happens, you put that on, the mud's going to come out there and spread across. And then there's this one, which is my favorite, which is four-wheeled. You just pop that on there, and the mud's going to be coming out of these two parts, and then it's evenly spread across. So this would go in an inside angle. Then there's a corner bead applicator. So same thing, you're just going to pop it on, and then it's going to hug your corner bead. So like right here, and then it's going to go ahead and put your mud on for you, so then you can then apply your tape on corner beads. Then there's also AccuJust. These are pretty cool. So they're totally adjustable on the back here. So you can adjust them whatever angle it is that you're wanting. And then you put your tube in, and then the mud actually comes out of this little spot right here. So it definitely speeds up. If you have a lot of off angles, you just throw this on there, adjust it to whatever your off angle degree is, and then you can just run with it. It'll just put on the mud for you, and then you can go ahead and put on your off angle tape, and then also follow with this right behind it to wipe it down. So this one is a 3.5, and then this one is a 3. Same thing, direct mud, and they just have the adjustments on the back, but really handy for a lot of off angles. And then we have something that's coming out soon. This is new. This is a box filler attachment. So you can throw that on there, and then you can throw that in your boxes, so where that little slat is, and you can fill your boxes with your compound tube. So you can be running boxes without having to invest into a pump system because you have this compound tube. And then there are the Nicor flushers, which just snap on like that, and then the mud will come out of the front, so you can do either one with this. It really speeds it up for finishing, so you can have your mud, and then it's just getting directly applied by your flusher. And there's also a direct flusher that I don't have with me, but it's like these guys, and then it has the hole, so it'll go ahead and apply the mud and finish the angle at the same time for you. So when we're looking at getting into this system, it really is smart because there's so many different ways that you can finish to speed up your hand taping process. You can pick and choose what applicators you want to go with your system, and then you can, do your flats, your angles. If that's what you want to speed up, stick with that. If you're having a really hard time with getting your mud on for your tape on corner beads, then the bead applicator would be a great choice. And if you're doing a lot of jobs that have off angles, then these AccuJust corner flushers would be perfect. So it's really kind of nice because you can really mix and match, but then you can use all of these things independently too. Run the compound tube. You can run these guys just on a straight up handle. If you don't want to have your mud coming out, you can just pop a handle on the back of there. Same thing with the flushers. So yeah, it's just kind of like a jack of all trades kind of a system. It really works out well. So let's go ahead. We're going to put the flat applicator on, show you how to run a flat, and then we'll throw on the gold core, and then we'll do an angle, and then we'll throw on the bead applicator and do a corner bead right behind us. So let's get at it. All right, so I have my mud all mixed up. I'm using taping mud because we are taping. I've got my tube, it's empty. What's really nice is they're super easy to clean out too. You just kind of pump some water through and it cleans it all out for you. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put my applicator head in, and then I'm gonna suck up the mud. And then you can kind of hit it off. You can give it a little primer there because I sucked some air in there. But it's really not a big deal. It's not going to cause it to like fail or not work if you suck a little air in. And then I'm going to take my applicator head, pop it on. As you can tell, mud's already coming out. And then we're going to go ahead and run this flat right here. So I'm going to have it down. I'm going to push. So I'm pushing on my back and just kind of glide it across. And now that our mud's applied, we're just going to go ahead and apply our tape by hand. So that little applicator there is just really handy for flats. You can kind of just have somebody, if you've got a two-person system, it would work out great because you can have one of you running that and then putting the mud on and then the other one coming behind and then applying your tape. And then we've got a ton of mud back behind there. Everything gets wiped down, all nice and tight. When we're looking at speeding up the process of hand taping, this is absolutely gonna make leaps and bounds because that just put on the mud for me, threw my tape up, and then I had that wiped down in a couple seconds. So it really shines where you're looking to, maybe you're not doing huge projects, maybe you're kind of in between, maybe you want to step up from hand taping and you really want to start getting more efficient. The compound tube with attachments is where it's at. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the angle attachment on, and then we'll go ahead and run this angle right here, and then we'll kind of walk through how to finish that. All right, now I've got my gold core applicator. I really like this one because it's got the 4 wheels. It's really easy to use in the angles. So just snap it on there. The click is what you're listening for. When it clicks, it's on there correctly. So this one's gonna be putting mud out from here and here, and then right there also. So it does put out quite a bit of mud. So you can use this for taping, or you can use this for, finishing. You can put extra mud in there too, but we're just gonna go up like so, and it goes both ways. So, depending on framing on houses, it's all gonna depend on where it's leaving mud and not leaving mud. So the really nice thing is with these dual action wheels here, you can go backwards, forwards, up, down, and kind of get everything in there. But so far we've done flats and angles already with this compound tube. So now I got my paper tape, I've got it pre-creased, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and set it in there. Get it looking all nice. And then depending on your system, you can either wipe this by hand, or you can grab out a roller and a flusher and then finish that way. So if we're wiping by hand, we're just gonna wanna make sure everything is pushed in there nice and tight, and then we're just gonna come up and down, and we're gonna put our knives in the center of that angle there. And as you can see, there's a really nice amount of mud there, so I'm not struggling, I'm not gonna be having any blisters or any issues behind my tape. So I'll go grab a roller, and then we can roll it, and then we'll flush it and show how that system looks too. So here we are then using a roller, which you don't have to use if you don't want to. It's not like end all be all, but you can also roll and then just go ahead and wipe this down by hand too if you so choose. So now I have my flusher. These are the Nitecore flushers. Something new they've come out with is super affordable. There's kind of a rigid plastic and they actually work out really well. And what I've learned with these guys is you really need to push hard. So don't be afraid to get in there with some elbow grease and get that angle looking nice. So I get in here, push, and we'll just kind of clean up the edges there. Totally normal to have a little edge stuff going on. It's just kind of angles for you. But then what you do is you would repeat the process on all of your other top angles with that compound tube, whatever inside head applicator you're wanting, and then you can roll and flush, or you can roll and do it by hand, or you can just do it by hand completely. So it kind of really is up to you, and that's one of the nice things is there's so much flexibility. You can go, as deep into the tools as you want, or you can just have that compound tube with a couple applicator heads and really speed it up. So let's go ahead and put the outside corner applicator head on and put that on the outside of a corner bead. So this we just ran with this corner bead applicator head. So wheels first, and then this is just gonna trail behind, and then all your mud is coming out from those slots right there. And then it kind of just gives you a nice even bead, so then you can throw your corner bead on there and then roll it tight, and then definitely speeds up the process, especially when you have a lot of windows. To use an applicator head like this with a compound tube legs can go a lot faster than just by hand. So that's kind of that tool right there. And one cool thing about this is if you're doing large amounts of skimming or going over texture, you just need to put a lot of mud in one area, you can actually just load this up and you can just squeeze it straight out of the nozzle and then just go ahead and apply, you know, as much mud as you want. You can like dollop it on there. Anyway, you can kind of do all sorts of different stuff with it. It can be used without the applicator heads if you so choose for applications like that. So that's just kind of some of the uses you can get with the CanAm tube. It's just really versatile. There's a lot of different stuff you can do with it. Takes a little bit to get used to because you are moving and then pushing at the end to make the mud come out. So don't get frustrated if like you try it one time and you're like, this isn't working quite how I want it to. It definitely takes a little bit of finessing and getting used to how it's working, but it really will speed it up once you get used to how everything works. And then there are a ton of applicator heads, and then the box filler applicator head coming out later this year. So you could actually use this to fill your boxes if you so choose. So anyway, that's it for me this week. I will catch you all next week with a new video on the Build Show Network. And don't forget to follow me on socials, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and I'm forgetting one. Anyway, follow me on socials. It's worth it. See you guys later.